Hello, beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode 330, video update number 108. This time back at home in my regular setting, I would say, in the room, mainly because there was no opportunity to record anything outdoors. Well, there was one time when I was hoping for recording in a nice setting and weather, but life gets in the way. So here we are. It's 21:45 exactly, which is 9:45 p.m. for those of you that use 12 hours clock. And today's update will be fairly short and sweet, hopefully. This is Monday, start of the week, always on the busy side in terms of the amount of tasks that need to be done. When the week starts, it's usually packed, and tomorrow is no different. The great thing about today was that I didn't have to prepare the dinner, so that was my wife's, I would say, turn, and tomorrow as well. So it gives kind of relief. It's not that I don't like cooking, but cooking as a duty or to be on time because people are hungry, it's not something that I enjoy doing. I like to cook because I have that kind of, you know, feeling like, today is the day. I want to cook something and I have as much time as I want to prep carefully, to cook properly, and then serve. But usually dinners are not like that. I just finish work and then I need to step into the kitchen because everybody's hungry. So it needs to be prepared as soon as possible to satisfy, the bellies of and stomachs of the family. So yeah, it was a pleasant day to not have to do it, especially that today was a match, one of those league matches that Julian plays for Drumbar United, and it was quite unusual because the matches are rarely happening during the work week. Sometimes they happen on Thursdays if they are pushed because the other team might not have availability for Sundays, but usually they go on in the weekends. But this time, not only they didn't happen on Sunday and didn't happen on Thursday, but they actually requested Monday, and we agreed. So today, around 6:30 p.m., we were off. We were about to go to Inver, which is Eni Celtics um, home ground, Inver Community Center. A beautiful place, beautiful couple of beaches, and they're uphill, so you are on the hill actually. The downhill is the pitch, so you can sit on top of the hill and watch the game from the top, or you can go to the sitting area beside the pitch, but then that sitting area is more level with the actual pitch itself. While when you're on the hill, you have that advantage of the beautiful view on the field as well as on the Donegal Bay on the left hand side, which is amazing. And today it was very sunny at the time when we came to Inver, so it was another kind of added bonus. There was a mix up because we were expecting to come at 6:30. The guys should have about half an hour to warm up and then start playing at 7. But it turned out that there was some misunderstanding, and the referee and the team of Eni Celtic, they were ready for 6:30 start of the match, the kickoff. So there was some miscommunication, and we were asked to go as soon as we can to start closer to that 6:30. And because most of the people usually go around that, half an hour before for the guys to warm up, we managed to get the numbers, and the boys were ready to play match immediately. So there was no delay, but at the same time they didn't have warm up, so it wasn't, you know, as good as it should be. But it turned out to be very good for the Drumbar team, because Ini Celtic played with Drumbar on our turf here in Donegal, and they lost to Drumbar 4-2. It was quite a good match in terms of both sides. So we were expecting that on the home ground it will be a little bit more difficult to win. It turns out that it wasn't, and not only Julian scored one of the uh, beautiful goals for Drumbar United, but he didn't play in the first half. First half was about I think two goals only happened in the first half. It was 2 or 3-0. But the whole thing unleashed in the second half. Julian went in, a couple of other changes happened, and dynamic slightly changed. It's not that they were better, but it seems like the configuration worked to advantage of Drumbar in terms of those players kind of filled in the gaps that were needed, or rather, they were perfect fillers for those areas that Ini must have been weaker at, and it immediately changed the picture of the game. To be honest, I was a little bit sorry for Ini Celtic because they lost 7-1. So that was a lot of goals that happened in that match. But hey, it's just a game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. This time, Ini didn't manage to defend their home turf, and they lost a bit too much than probably they expected to do. But for us, it was a great win, and actually, I wanted to touch on one point for this update because while it was the only highlight probably of today that I wanted to mention, and I could probably finish now at 8 minutes mark, I wanted to touch a little bit about something that happened there. So while I was sitting on the grass in that sunny weather and watching the match like a VIP in front of the pitch, there were a couple of other parents in a distance sitting on a little kind of brick wall, and with their kids, the smaller kids. And at some stage, one of those little guys, probably about 2-3 years old, uh, came up to me and started talking to me. Of course, how infants tend to, be not clear about, well, they are clear about what they want to say, but they are not yet developed enough to express it properly in words. So they use whatever means they have. And this in itself is fascinating, and I love kind of listening to little kids, little children trying to, communicate their thoughts, and especially that they are always very creative, and they have different perspective on many things that we adults have. And it turned out that that of course I was on the safer side, and slightly keeping distance, because I know that some parents don't like when some other adult that they don't know uh, engages with the kid in the conversation or kind of playing. But it's slightly different in Ireland here, especially in those local areas. I kind of saw that, especially here in Donegal, those kind of areas, people are completely different. And of course, they knew that I must be one of the parents of the kids that are playing. So, it is certain level of trust. And I don't think I look like a criminal. So, you know, it's much easier to kind of be on the safe side and while watching the kid allow it to play anyway because it was running forth and back with a little plastic bottle of water. But the best part in all that encounter was that I actually spent with that kid probably half of that match uh, here and there. So he was coming back to me and spending time and playing with me, telling me different things. Half of them I probably didn't understand, only kind of got a little bit out of a little bit of the context. Not because of how he speaks, but English is not my native language. Even though I already learned or kind of assimilated enough with English language that I think English when I want to speak, so it's already kind of much easier than if you just learn hard language and try to translate in your head and thinking you're thinking in your own language and then try to translate it to English. Then it's very awkward. So it's very important to have that ability to switch into thinking in English or particular language, and that's easier to talk in that language. But obviously, it's not my native language, so I'm not used to little kids speaking in English, infant English, as I am probably with Polish infants. And even when I would listen to Polish infants, I would probably understand maybe 50-60% of them. So there's added layer of difficulty, but still I was surprised that that the more he tried to kind of persuade something to me and tell me something, I started catching those words that obviously he said in his own way, and they didn't sound like the adult would speak in English, regardless of the accent or region. But because of the context and what we were playing that with that bottle and grass and whatever, I started understanding more of what he tries to communicate. Especially that kids, you need to take from a very different perspective because, as I said, they are very creative. They live in a parallel, I would say, reality where their perception is very, very different than ours. So he enjoyed playing. I enjoyed playing that, although I missed a lot from the match, I guess, because I probably missed two or three goals. Fortunately, I didn't miss the one that Julian scored, but that was a very cool experience. But what I wanted to touch about is from that experience, a strange thoughts came to my head because you know it was his father was okay with me playing with him and he was kind of appreciating that I spent time, sacrifice my time for that kid that was kind of trying to get attention, and obviously they were speaking with probably somebody else. So I made sure that it didn't fall off the hill. Although the father was watching, so it probably wouldn't happen, and he was self-aware enough, I would say. But you know, sometimes when they kind of walk too fast, they might just trip over and fall. And there wasn't a cliff, but it was kind of slope that could have ended maybe with a couple of bruises if he fell down. So but then most of the time I was playing rocket with that plastic bottle and making sounds, and he was making sound. It was kind of cool because I was always, you know, awkward with the kids in Polish. Never mind the English. Uh, but the more and more we interacted, it was better and more comfortable for me. and to the point that he started telling me different kind of things and touching my arm or whatever. And you know, when I felt that soft little warm hand on my arm, looking at that innocent face, and also seeing Julian playing football, it was like a time machine, kind of time travel, and at the same time connection of those two things. I saw that little kid that Julian was in the past, not so long ago, because it was probably like 7, 8 years ago, and now he's already an early teen. He's 11 years old, almost 12, in probably 5 or 6 months. So that differentiation, at the same time, you know, those two boys, one completely stranger to me, but with his innocence, age, and that touch and that speech that was not much different from Julian in the past, and seeing Julian on the pitch already so much forward, it was like experiencing past and present at the same moment, and made me realize how fast those kids are going uh, forward, and how fast they grow out of that, I would say innocence is one word, but that kind of different mindset, that parallel reality, which is which is an amazing thing to experience. And I love my son so much, regardless of what is happening and what he does, what he says. And we have a special bond, definitely, between myself and Julian. And also, this day was special because I saw probably the best game that Julian ever played. I saw the, you know, dedication, the hunger of that when he went on in the second half. He was running for the ball, he was passing properly, the crosses that he did were amazing, he was dribbling, he was coming back when his side needed him, and playing a role of a defender or kind of middle defender. So it was amazing to see, and all these vectors kind of came up into a single point in time where I really appreciated that day very much. So I wanted to share that with you because it's a special day for me, and it's quite personal, but at the same time, as I said, this blog is meant to be authentic and show me as I am, and what I feel, what I experience, and what I live through, not only as a recording in the journal for my own accountability and reminiscence later on, but to show you people that there's um, nothing special about us, and everything is special about us. The thing is that over time, when we grow, we are so distracted by the adult life, technology, and all these duties that we are meant to do, or that are kind of trashing and filling up our schedule and life, that we forget about first kids in themselves, and we don't probably give them enough attention that they deserve, but also we forget about ourselves, that we were those kids in the past, and very likely we weren't given enough attention by most of adults at our time. So my message is, be aware of children as they grow so fast, and they can learn so much in early age if they have the right people, patient people, smart people, and people that want their best to happen. and I definitely want the best for my son and for that little fella, regardless if I will meet him again ever. I don't even know if he was from Drumbar side or from Ini side, but it was a very pleasant experience. And when we were coming back with Julian in the car, those amazing views of rain in the distance, heavy clouds, and then like a hole in the clouds through which sun was kind of brightening just a specific spot in the mountains or in the fields, green fields, where you could see like a very bright green and yellow, uh, sharp, landscape, and then surrounded by drizzle and heavy clouds and dark kind of silhouettes of the Blue Stack Mountains. It was surreal. And on top of that, twice we experienced a very bright, vivid, and sharp rainbow. And I mean double rainbow, so you could see clearly the whole arc, and then the vague, or I would say faded, second reflection of that uh, optical illusion that we experience and is so beautiful in nature. So, with that, I'd like to wrap up and thank you very much for uh, listening and watching. And I hope that you had a great day or have a great day. Spend it with your family, spend it with your loved ones or friends or pets, whoever you respect the most in your life and you love, and cherish those moments because they run out fast and life changes very quickly. People change very quickly. So these are memories that we'll remember for life. So that's it for today. Thank you once again, and see you again tomorrow. Stay tuned.